All right, hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Finished Podcast, hosted by yours truly, none other than Sean Lazarus. Special guest we have via Skype today. We have Cody Stamann. Cody, what's going on, man?
Hey, all right, glad to be here.
Hey, man. Hey, appreciate the. I know it's kind of last minute getting you on here and everything like that, so I definitely appreciate it. So I just want you to know that first and
No worries.
foremost.
No worries.
So, man, you got a pretty big fight coming up. What's kind of going through your brain? You know, uh, to be honest, once you got that one over Caraway, you got on a lot of people's radar, right? And you kind of cracked the rankings and everything else that's going on. So I guess tell me how did this fight come about with Sterling? I know you guys had a little bit of trash talk. I guess just tell me how did this whole thing come about between you and him?
So, I mean, basically, after I fought Caraway, my manager and I talked about guys that, were potentially next. John Lineker was a guy. John Dodson was the number 2 guy, and Aljamain Sterling was the number 3 guy.
Yep.
While Lineker just fought, and he didn't really want to fight again too soon. I don't really feel like being on the fence any longer than I have been. Dodson's obviously fighting Jimmy Rivera, same card as me. So the only guy left was Sterling, and I hopped on Twitter, said a couple not safe for work comments, and boom, next thing you know, a month later, the fight's in motion, and now we're gonna get down September 8th.
Yeah, is it personal between you and him, or is it just kind of just typical kind of shit talk kind of thing? I mean, is it personal, or is it, you know what I mean? Is it something just business as usual?
I mean, I don't really take any of this stuff personal. I think it's always business in my mind, but yeah, I think he's a little butthurt. I think he's a little mad about some of the comments I made. I mean, you can tell he's almost getting emotional with a lot of the stuff that I'm saying. But I think a lot of it is you got to keep up. You got to keep up with the times.
Yeah,
People want to see you sell fights.
yeah,
People love the trash talking. I mean, whether they love it or hate it, they want to see it. They're entertained by it. And I want to be an entertaining guy. I don't want to be one of those guys that goes out there, grabs out wins, and
yeah.
gets a microphone in front of him that's
Right.
talks on monotone. And nobody wants to see that guy. People want to see flashy people.
Yeah, yeah.
Exciting guys in and outside the cage.
So I actually tweeted him before we did the recording, and I was just trying to get a comment out of him because I told him you were coming on, and he didn't really say a whole lot. He just said, I think all he said was, I said, hey man, you got any comments for Cody? He just said, see you in September. What do you think?
Exciting guy.
What problems do you think he poses to you, if any?
I mean, he's just another top 10 opponent.
Yeah,
He, just like I thought, Brian Caraway. Brian Caraway was a specialist. He had a good left hook, really good wrestler. I mean, you think during training camp, you're 100% prepared for everything you see and done. You get in the cage,
yep,
and maybe things don't always go the way you thought they would, or maybe the guy's a little bit faster, slower, whatever. I mean, every single guy in the division in the top 10 in the UFC is an absolute killer. Aljamain
right,
Sterling's an absolute killer. I'm an absolute killer. So he's dangerous everywhere. But I'm prepared for that. I think I'm a better athlete. I think I'm a better MMA wrestler. I think I'm going to dictate where this fight ends up, and that's something that I don't think he's really used to. And I think guys that have been able to stuff his takedowns and kind of dictate where the fight is, those are the kind of guys that he loses to. So I'm planning on being one of those guys.
I guess were you impressed by? He just fought back in April. He fought Pike back in April. What did you gather from that? Is there anything useful you think you can get out of that fight, preparing for this fight?
So I study film religiously. I think that a lot of guys have a lot of tendencies that they carry throughout their fighting career,
Agreed.
and I like to get to know those tendencies. And I jump on my Airdyne bike, and almost every single day I'll do like 30 minutes, 45 minutes of just like riding the Airdyne and watching film.
Yeah.
I set it up right to my big screen. My Airdyne bike's in my living room, so
Yeah.
I ride the bike and I watch film. And so there are definitely things in that fight that I noticed that I feel like I can exploit. I feel like there's a lot of things that he's done well, maybe better than his last fights, but I didn't think that Pikey, Brett Johns, I didn't think that kid was very good. I still don't think he's very good. I think that 15-0 record is just he's another one of those guys that was fighting in Europe and probably not fighting good guys in Europe, but good guys in Europe aren't as good as the guys in the U.S. Guys in the U.S. are the best guys.
Kind of like a big fish in a small pond kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now he's in the UFC, and now he got a taste of a big fight, and obviously Sterling handled him pretty easily. But I don't know. When I watched Brian Caraway and Sterling fight, obviously I was watching Caraway at the time because that was the guy I was going to fight. But in my head, I was going, I can beat either one of these guys, and I've kind of always had that mentality, and I think that's really what has made me so successful. Is that I'm not one of those guys that believes people's hype. I don't care what you're ranked, how many UFC fights you have, who's in your corner. None of that shit's ever mattered to me. I look at the opponent, I look at where they're good, where they're bad, and then I just figure out how I'm going to beat them.
What do you think about him? He's made a lot of comparisons to you and Pikey, kind of, another guy on a win streak coming after me again. It's been there, done that. What do you think about those kind of comments?
I mean, Brett Johns and I are, two completely different animals,
Agreed.
Brett Johns was a good wrestler in Wales or wherever he's from.
Yeah.
I'm a good wrestler in the U.S. I take guys down, and I can defend takedowns from the absolute best guys in the world. So you talk about different levels of wrestling just right off the rip. But, I switch stances. I do a lot of things that he can't. I think that Brett Johns kind of got that, like, old school fighting mentality, kind of like if you're standing right in front of him, and you guys are just in a kickboxing match where you're both just standing there, he does pretty well. Those are the kind of fights that he does really well. But a guy like Aljo, who moves a lot, obviously created all kinds of problems for him. But, I feel like I'm the new level of athlete that can move, I can stand still, I can fight guys however I need to beat them.
What do you think what's the word I'm looking for? What do you think the importance is? It seems like a really important fight for the division, right? You got you two guys, and then you got Dotson and Rivera, and it's like maybe the winner of you two guys fights the winner of them, and then possibly, into title contention. Or really, I mean, you could really argue that any four of you guys could really be in title contention right now. What do you think its significance is on this fight as it pertains to the division?
I mean, so for me, I feel like I'm gonna, after I beat Aljamain Sterling, that's another. I just beat two top 10 guys, and I beat the number 7 and number 8 guys.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I should maybe either get a top 5 guy, or I should, pedal back and take whoever the UFC wants me to fight just to stay busy. But the bantamweight division is complicated, man. There's so many guys that are doing well, and it's kind of one of those. It's a weird thing, Jimmy Rivera was like 5-fight win streak, won all 5 of his fights. He could have easily been, before he fought Moraes, he could have been a guy that could have been in contention. And then you got Moraes, who freaking obviously that guy could easily be the next guy to get the shot.
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
Huge name.
Yeah.
He's been the champ. He's huge. Then you got Rafael Sinsa, who no one really thinks about, but that guy's on like an 8-fight win streak.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he's beat like everybody in the top 15.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Who's gonna get that next shot? I think it's just gonna be the guy that makes the most noise. It's gonna be the fight that makes sense. People. Everybody wants to bitch and complain, but fighting is a business. It's a business. You need to promote yourself. You need to be an asset to this company. And so, I think it's going to be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. I watched Chael Sonnen do a thing on the 135-pound division. He's like, it's kind of wide open. There's like 5 guys that could easily, get that next title shot, and no one could really say that they don't deserve it. It's just going to be the guy that, is on a roll, that has the clout behind him, and the fight that makes sense, business-wise.
I guess speaking of, like you said, kind of self-promoting and kind of the entertainment side, I guess on a little side note, I always like to ask everybody this because I kind of get a slightly different answer from everybody. But, what do you think about the idea of the money fight, the idea, the DC Brock Lesnar thing, for example, right? What do you think about those type of antics and just for sheer cash cow purposes? Has nothing to do with rankings. Has nothing to do with belts, really. I mean, let's be honest. It's just a cash cow kind of situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Would you want to watch that fight?
Lesnar and DC?
Yeah.
All right. It's a two-sided coin. I would watch it. I don't expect it to be competitive. I do want to see it just to see what happens. I'm curious. Do I think anything other than DC beating the holy hell out of Brock is going to happen? Yeah, I think everybody knows that, but it's like a weird train wreck curiosity to me. Like it's going to be a train wreck, but it's like I still kind of have to.
Yeah, I still want to see it. I'm kind of the same way. And that's it. I mean, do you want to see it? Do people want to watch the fight?
Yeah.
Well, if they do, then it makes sense. If it makes money, it makes sense in this business. So, yeah, I think all those fights that draw different groups of people into MMA, it just makes the sport bigger. I think a lot of diehard fans they want to bitch and complain about it, and I understand where they're coming from. Being that you want to see, number one and number two fight, but
Right.
even in boxing and in any combat sport, number one and number two aren't always the guys that end up in.
Right.
There's all kinds of legalities. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes,
Right.
that maybe people don't understand. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and we're all just trying to make as much money as we can, including the UFC. So you can't really, all the the diehard fans that want to see, two top contenders fight. Maybe it's not exactly the right thing for either one of their careers. So I think the UFC has done an awesome job with, you're talking about a sport that was built from the ground up.
Right.
Now everybody knows what the UFC is. You go anywhere, they know what the UFC is. They don't even know what MMA is. People know what the UFC is, though. So
Right. Yeah.
You got to think that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
like not knowing that the NFL is football.
Right.
That's literally what it is.
Do you think that eventually that's what MMA or UFC will eventually lead to? Kind of that. I kind of compare it to boxing, right? Because for years, boxing has always been associated sometimes with that kind of a circus kind of situation, like circus press conferences and people shoving and pushing and throwing stuff. Like that's been going on for years in boxing, for years, right? And it's like all of a sudden, when it happens in the UFC and your name isn't McGregor, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's too WWE-ish. Oh, it's too rehearsed. Oh, it's too fake. Oh, it's this and that. Just like you said, like some of these fans are really picky. I get it. I think we all get it. I think we all understand. Like you said, I think the purists, we get it. But like you said, it is a business at the end of the day. Without the eyeballs on, you guys and on these other pay-per-views, nobody's making any money. The UFC's not making money. You guys aren't making money. The camera guy's not making money. No one's making any money,
Right.
It's just an interesting dichotomy. So, of course, big fight in your division, to get back on track here. Of course, Cody and TJ.
Yeah.
What's happening with that?
I think TJ is gonna win, but you can't really count Cody Garbrandt out just because he's got that one-hitter quitter. Put anybody out. Not many guys have that kind of power in this division, so it's this crazy matchup. Definitely not a fight that I'm going to be betting on because I think TJ will probably be a favorite, but Garbrandt's got that fight finishing right hand. So for me, I feel like the best thing for the bantamweight division would be for TJ to win and kind of solidify himself as the absolute best.
Yeah.
Because then that kind of opens up opportunities. But then if Garbrandt goes out and knocks TJ out, you're looking at a trilogy, and then the bantamweight, the belt's tied up for another, 6 months, a year. Who knows? 6 months if those guys are both healthy. A year if one of them gets hurt. And maybe they'll have some kind of interim fight. Who knows? I just want to see TJ win so we can move forward.
You think TJ moves up or moves down or goes somewhere else after he if he beats Cody?
Yeah, I would love to see that super fight with Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a fan on the planet that wouldn't want to see that fight.
Yeah.
Two of the pound best guys in the world.
Yeah.
Going at it. I mean, that would be an awesome fight. That's like one of those fights that, as far as like skill level and rankings go, it makes sense. And there's going to be a lot of clout behind it because these two champions fighting. You know, so that's a real super fight. That's a real super fight that I think everyone would want to see.
Agreed. And a lot of people talk about how DJ's ducking him and stuff like that. I think people kind of got it wrong. I really don't think it's a situation of anybody's ducking anybody. I mean, you're in the UFC, especially doing what he does. I don't think anybody's really afraid of anybody. You know, it's just a matter. Most of that stuff is business decisions and stuff like that, and I think most people don't realize that. You know, it's about the right money. You know, so maybe just in case I don't get the W, I want to make sure I'm getting compensated right. You know, and make sure everything is square on that. But real quick, man, let's do a. I'd say let's do a. I don't know what's a 1 year, 2 year plan for you. Let's say you beat Sterling. What's your path to the title?
I think after I beat Sterling, I'm still 2 fights from the belt.
Okay.
I've always known that. I've kind of always known that I was probably going to need 5 or 6 fights before I was going to be in that legit contender spot, just because there's so many good guys at bantamweight. Maybe at a different weight class, if I won 5 straight, there'd be no question that at 125, if I won 5 straight, that I'd probably for sure be getting that title shot. But just because there's so many really, really good guys at bantamweight, it's hard to say that I deserve it next. But I'm just going to keep winning. Keep getting better. And I want to be a staple. I want to be a staple in the UFC. When people talk about the bantamweight division, I want to be one of those guys that they mention. I want to be amongst the TJ Dillashaw's, the Garbrandts, the Dominic Cruz. I want it to be Cody Stamann. I want to be on that list. And that's kind of been the goal. That was kind of my goal for 2018. I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. I feel like a win over Sterling definitely puts me close to that point. And then maybe one other win against a legit guy or anybody. Yeah. And I'm 5-0 in the UFC, and no one's going to be able to deny the fact that I'm a factor in this weight class, and I'm going to eventually be the champ.
All right, brother. Well, you know what? I don't think I could put it any better words than that, man. It's a good place to kind of end it, man. Like I said, we appreciate your time, man. And
of course.
Yeah, man. Like I said, hopefully we'll. I'd like to get you back on, maybe possibly after the fight or something like that. If you have the time. So
that'd be great.
But anyway, man. So take care, brother. Like I said, appreciate the time, man. Take care.
Of course, great number. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Hey, guys, if you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Send me a message. I'm going to scroll up here like long walks on the beach. I don't know. You never know. And please, for you audiophiles out there, we're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe to us. Helps out a ton.